Okay, Makers Machining is back here with the pattern makers that we've been interviewing today and got the tour in their shop. We're in their office, or I'd call it a man cave, the ultimate man cave here. Got all their interesting things that they've been working on. As we mentioned earlier, they had made a replica anchor out of wood for the U-505 submarine that's at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, and they were invited to the celebration or grand opening when they had moved that submarine into the new berth over at the museum there. So they've got the invitation for that here on their table. That was what, 2005 they did that. They put that new display up. Here's some pictures of art with the anchor that he had made. They brought the original anchor here, duplicated it, and that's what's hanging on the submarine, because they took the original anchor and put it in the museum or the memorial for seagoing people that were in the war. And then you guys, what else you got there, Art?
Well, we've been lucky enough through the years that our word got around about us all over the United States, and so we get contacted by all kinds of people that have interesting projects, and one of them was the recreation of the Wright Flyer. 1903, of course, was the date of the first flight, and they wanted to celebrate that and duplicate it in 2003. So several aviation enthusiasts all over the world made replica Wright Flyers, and one of them was in Chicago. Wheaton, to be exact, is where this airplane was actually made, and it's an exact replica. The guy did a beautiful job building the airplane itself. And then the museum came to us because he was working through the museum. They came to us. They had the original factory drawings for the engine that they got from the Smithsonian, and asked us if we would make the engine for the Wright Flyer, which we agreed to. And we made a couple of pieces for the engine, and another fine gentleman came along and said, "I'll do everything for free." Well, we don't work for free, but anyway, he finished the entire project, did all the machining, put it together, got it running, and this aircraft actually flew. And it's the only one of all the aircraft around the world that were built for this celebration. This one actually flew about 500 feet. They had it out for tests only. And a gust of wind caught it, and the next thing you knew, it was 500 feet in the air.
Ay, ay, ay.
Scared the pilot half to death, because he was just learning how to fly it, because the Wright Flyers were controlled by wing warping. No ailerons or anything like that. You just twisted the wings, and he was learning how to do that, and the next thing you knew, he was 500 feet in the air. Wow. And when he came down, he decided, that's it. No more flying for me.
He had his fill of it.
But you can see here, they have a picture of it in the air.
Yep.
And that's all that mattered.
Yeah.
And
so these guys played a part in getting that thing off the ground, and were invited to the
we were actually there and watched that flying too.
Watched it fly. Pretty cool. You know, while we're talking about museums and things of that nature, there's another great museum for aeronautical things that in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's called Air Zoo, and boy, I tell you what a great place. They got everything in there, from a stealth fighter to
highly
these
recommended.
The SR-71.
Yeah.
Blackbird, the one that flies
supersonic.
Yeah. A million feet in the air or whatever.
Yeah. And then they've got a Wright Flyer in there also.
Yeah, a lot of museums have Wright Flyers.
Yeah.
But this is the only one that ever flew.
Made it off the ground.
The rest of them are just static displays.
Uh-huh.
This one flew.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a quick walk through the shop and look at some of the machinery that they've got. As you can see here, they've got all kinds of reference books and history books and that type of thing. So these guys are not only making historic parts, but they're also interested in history. Yeah. Now let's take a look at this joiner. This here's a joiner for flattening out wood, and look at that nice pile of wood shavings down there. You can just smell that. But it's got two tables, and the incoming table goes a little bit lower than the outgoing table, and the the blade spins around, and the blades are flush and even with the top of the outgoing table.
That's 20 inches wide.
20-inch wide joiner. So what else you guys have over here you can tell us about? You got a thickness planer right there that you're standing by.
The sander, the bandsaw.
Bandsaw.
Sander, they're all 3-phase.
Yep. Yeah, he's got to turn on the phase converter to run these. Here's a nice dust collector system here that helps catch some of that sawdust. But there's still plenty.
This little sander is 3-phase too. It works off that little.
Yep. But here's a larger belt sander here. Table saw. This is probably your starting point.
Spindle sander.
Yeah. Here's a spindle sander. You got a couple of them here, and this one here's got a spindle that there's different diameter spindles that they've got, and they rotate around and they reciprocate up and down, and you can tilt them on an angle to, you know, follow the shape of the part. Bert's gonna crank that thing and straighten it up. Look at the angle you can get on that thing. This one here has to use the phase converter to run, so we're not going to turn that on, but you can see how that adapts. The plate that's on the bottom here, they can take a different plate for different diameter spindles to put you know, their sanding drums in. There's another one I see down there that's got a great big hole in it for that large diameter one. So you've got a nice flat surface to work with. This thing actually has a fence on it also that goes right along here that you can make a nice parallel move. So we'll take another walk around the corner over here. Art's got this other spindle sander over here. We already got the tour of the Cadillac cylinders there. Here's what I was talking about, a reciprocating spindle sander. Different diameter spindles, so if you're getting in tight corners or whatever, that reciprocates up and down, so it helps keep even wear and gets the sawdust cleared away from the wood that they're doing. And I can get in there and pivot around, and this table even tilts on an angle. Yeah, look at that small little spindle there. So these are quite a handy tool for a pattern maker.
We got one even smaller.
One even smaller yet, huh? Oh, look at that little guy. Looks like a toothpick.
Yeah, that's it.
That's for getting in a tight corner there.
It is.
So, anyhow, you see a shop full of woodworking equipment here. These guys have done a little bit of everything from boat repairs to boat building, airplane parts.
Antique automobiles.
Antique automobiles is probably what makes you guys tick the most there, wouldn't you say?
That makes me tick the most.
I know they had a crankshaft in here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to, I don't know if you guys made a pattern for that or were making some mating parts that went with it. That was some years ago.
What I did make was a wooden crankshaft for a customer that had a crankcase, and he didn't know if a particular crankshaft would fit in it. So I had the drawing for the crankshaft. I made a crankshaft out of wood. We stuck it in there in the main bearings and turned out perfectly.
Yep.
And now he has it in his office as a display.
No kidding. I tell you what, it's a skilled trade to be in here. These guys do fantastic work. You can see by the quality of what they're making here how nice the parts will turn out, as the pattern is going to create the mold, which creates the casting, and it all has to fit right. Everything, no matter if it's machining or pattern making or mold making or plumbers or carpenters, everything's got to fit. So
I have also built 25 antique automobile bodies, all different shapes, roadsters, touring cars.
Back from when, the 20s or before?
No, 19. The oldest was a 1903 Pope Tribune, and the newest would be 1912. And I built 25 different styles for different makes of cars.
Yeah.
The last one I made was for a 1907 Tincher, and a 1907 Tincher cost $7,000
at the time.
In 1907, you could buy a new house for $1,200.
Yeah.
So they didn't make too many Tinchers.
I guess not.
And
that's probably a collector's piece.
This is the only one existing.
Really?
So, yep.
Yep. Now these guys get to see and work on the odd and unusual, one-of-a-kind things here. So, well, I guess we're going to wrap this up here today. really have to thank Bert and Art for the tour that they've given us, and hopefully everybody's able to pick up a little bit of an idea of how patterns are made and how castings are made. I've got a video of the foundry here that maybe we can put on the YouTube here. So we're going to sign off here. Thanks for watching. This is Makers Machining. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like what you see, and keep these guys in mind here. If you got some questions, contact me, and maybe we can answer some questions for you. We'll talk to you again soon. So long.